Hi, everybody. This is Ben Colby, Teen Librarian, coming to you from the Teen Center at Enoch Pratt. This video today is a design video to create a Skyline design that we're going to 3D print. This one I've done in several colors. There's 4 buildings. They're all in different colors, and I've even got a few extra colors on there. So I'm going to go ahead and show you some close-up pics of how this came out. When you have the different layers in your design, all you need to do in the printing stage is just change the color so that from a certain point up to another certain point, you're printing in a particular color. And then when you get to the top surfaces, you can put little bits like this purple I put in here. And that can really give you a nice design on the surface. So there's a lot you could do with this. I made a rather small version. It obviously could be bigger. You could do all kinds of things with it, like make it a pencil holder, put a hole in the top, make it a cup. Anyway, here's the video. Okay, here I am in Tinkercad. I'm just going to go ahead and create a new design. If you pop in for the first time and you get a tutorial, you can just close that. So we're going to demonstrate 2 things today. We're going to combine some shapes and we're going to cut out some shapes. So I'm going to start by dragging a box into my work plane to start the shape of my first building. I'm hitting F to zoom in on my selection. I can also change my view by right-clicking and dragging on the work plane, or you can click and drag the box up here. You also have some other camera controls here. The first building, I'm going to shrink down to 5 millimeters tall. I want it to be between 2 and 3 inches tall, 61 is fine, and between 1 and 2 inches wide, 31 is fine. So it's kind of a domino shape. And let's give it a roof. I think there are some shapes that'll work fine, but let's just use this green roof shape. I'm going to have to rotate this. So you have actually 3 different directions to rotate. If you rotate along the inside snap grid, you can jump from 90 to 67 to 45, etc. If you drag along the outside, you get a much smoother turn. But in this case, I just want a straight 90. I'm hitting D to move that back up to the surface. I can also change, if I drag the cone on the top, I can change how high off the ground it is. So I just want this to be overlapping a little bit, and then I'm going to stretch it to the side so it more or less covers what it needs to cover. And I'm going to drop the depth until it's even. And that actually looks great. You just want to look all around and make sure that it's overlapping. And then if you're good, just go ahead and group it together. So my first building is done. Let's start the second one. I'm going to put another box down. And let's see. I will take it to 10 this time, a depth of to a height of 10. And it's going to be a shorter building. I could just leave it square. Why don't I put another box on there just to make it a little irregular on the top? So I'm just going to make this one skinnier and kind of overlap it. Make it the same depth. That's pretty nice. So let's just drag a box over just those 2 shapes. Group them together. I'm going to change the color just so we can see the separate shapes. The colors you see in Tinkercad don't matter to the final print, except that I'm going to use the colors just to kind of illustrate what it'll look like after we do color changes for different layers in the process. It will look kind of like that. Building 3. Start with another box. I think I'm going to do 4 total here. And I'm going to make it a little higher than the other one. Or you know what? Let's back it up behind that a little bit. I just want to make sure it's higher than the first one. That's totally fine. So this is going to be the tallest one. And let's give it a rounded roof. So there's a blue round roof shape. And once again, I just need to rotate it 90 degrees, move it up to the surface, pull it over to about where it needs to be. And in this case, I think, yeah, everything is 20 wide already, so that's fine. And I've got it down to the right depth. So now I'm just going to group those two shapes and give them another color. And let's add a fourth shape. Having trouble lining it up. Oh, there it is. It's lined up. I do want the bottom to be even because I want to stand this up at the end of the day. So I think it's fine if this one is a little taller than everything else. You don't want it to be the same as any other surface because I want to be able to do a color change to make it different. So we can put 4 different colors on this if you want. Okay, so let's make it almost as tall, and let's put the triangular roof on again, 90 degrees up to the surface. This time let's make it just half the roof that's covered by the triangle. That'll work. And then just make it the same depth as that building part. You know, I feel like putting another one of those on. I'm going to copy and paste it, move it over here, sink it down into the building a little more, but then also make it a little pointier. And then if I want to select just these 3, here's a trick. I can drag it from the side so that I'm only grabbing 3 shapes to group together. I could have also done it on the side, I suppose, and moved it into place later. So I really like this as my outer shape. So this is a thing that would stand up. Okay, I could be done at this point if I wanted. I want to demonstrate a couple of different methods for cutting shapes out, though. So let's use the box cutout shape here. I'm going to show you a quick method for copying and pasting several of these. So I've got it shrunken down to a skinny little stick here. Oops. And then I'm going to copy and paste, or let's use the duplicate key, and I'm using my arrows to move this over. I'm going to select both together, group them, duplicate again, use my arrows to move these over. And so using this method, you can keep copying and pasting. Let's just do a set of 4 across. So let's see, if I duplicate again, then I can drop another row down. Let's do a 4x4 grid. Grouping one more time, copying and pasting, and let's just kind of get that lined up. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm going to group all of these together. So this is kind of like a stamp that's going to cut straight out of whatever it gets placed over. So let's take the first cutout from over here. Just the upper floors, I think. I'm just going to squish it until it fits perfectly. I don't want this to cut out of the yellow shape, just the red shape. That's great. And before I do this, I'm just going to make one more copy and throw it off to the side so I can work with that again. At this point, I might as well group all of the shapes together. I don't need them to be different colors. I just wanted to show you how we could make it different. Let's make these really small and do some cutouts in the very top here. Pretty good. I guess it could go all the way into the rounded part. It doesn't actually have to be centered. Well, let's try to center it. Okay, that's good. So I'm just going to drag the box and group, and now we cut out the holes. That's good enough for now. You can see how you would add all sorts of other holes to the front if you wanted to. One way to do that, by the way, would be to use the scribble shape here. So if I just wanted to create any kind of shape, and now I'm done, I can make that into a hole as well. So you could make literally any shape of hole that you want to cut out. That's great. So I think I am going to stop here for the first video. So this is we're gonna print this in layers with different color layers. So it should end up with 4 different colors. It should be very nice. So to export this, I go to export everything in the design as an STL. And that's a file that you could submit to me.